Okay, this tutorial is going to give you a brief overview on how to create a branded look to all our graphics. Okay, we're going to work with promotional graphics. Um, in the brand kit, we added the logos for our brands. It really just should have been our logo, which is there, but that's okay. We could always get rid of them. There are certain colors. These are obviously our logo colors. Okay. And there is something called color science, and it's the opposite end of the color wheel is what is a complementary color. Purple, blue, yellow are complementary colors to this. Um, White and gray would be accent or text. Um, but there is a reason certain retailers, and when they do advertising, they stick with a certain color palette. There's also certain fonts that look way better than others. Um, I tend to like these fonts depending on what we're doing. I do like cursive thrown in there. There's certain ones I like that I will list, okay? But we have to have some sort of formula when making graphics, and this is a little bit of a start, okay? Now, I did some updates to your August promotional graphics. Okay, these are great. You always did great, wonderful graphics, but we got to elevate now what we're doing. And I want to start using backgrounds, more specifically product display backgrounds. A lot of people use these. These are readily available on Canva and Envato Elements. I'll show you how to pull them up. I also like seamless background patterns. Can be seasonal, can be geometric, watercolor. There's a ton of them. But when showing off product, there are certain ways it just looks better, okay? And so what I have configured here, these are the elements I want in the graphics, okay? So we have, let me go here. So basically we have our QR code, and I would like these in the same spot on every graphic. Really, it just gives it a cohesive look. QR code for every promotion that we run, okay? Our watermark here. The product, right? And then the text. If we're using a GIF, we throw the GIF in. We don't want, I mean, I wouldn't never do two arrows, but we want to keep it simple if we're using one. Don't overdo it. And then we want to use a background. It could be a solid color. I prefer product display backgrounds. These are awesome. So I have a template right here. So this shows you these are the grid elements you need to use, okay, to make these show properly, because it's a photo we're popping in. So this is the grid element for the background. This is the grid element for the product. This is a frame that we can put the QR code in. This is a circular frame, these, that we can use for the logo icon. So real quick, here's how to do, I already have these set here, okay? All product display backgrounds are going to be in this folder called Backgrounds Product Display. I've accumulated a pretty large collection. I started making folders within the folders for the seasonal, but you will find them all here, okay? And there's a reason people use these, advertisers use these to show off their product. It's usually a blurred background. I tend to love wood, natural textures. I like ledges, you know, it just depends on what you're doing. These definitely can be organized better and sorted, but to give you an example of how to set this up, we'll try this one, okay? So if we're going to do it on this photo, you got to drag it and make sure, I've noticed your graphics do not go all the way to the edge. Make sure they go all the way to the edge, and you got to check them on all sides. And that's why you got to use the grid elements. It just makes it so much easier. So we put it there. We're going to drag it in the back. See that? Let me move this. Okay. Now, it depends on how much product you have. You can shift this around. Okay. You can make if there's a ledge, you can make the ledge higher. Okay. And this is where we would put the product. This is where we would put the QR code. You can also find product display backgrounds on Envato Elements. This one I thought was great. You would basically search photography elements, photos, and use these keywords. And look at, I mean, there's a ton of them. There's a reason people use these, because it just makes product pop. So now we have the background, okay? When we are creating, when we are using this background, you have to put everything in a grid element, or it'll snap, you know, if you move stuff around without the grid element, it'll put it in the background. So all of the, let's see, where did I put? So for the Ziggy bars, and we want to be we don't want to be uploading things to the upload folder anymore. I need you to start, and teaching everybody to start categorizing these things better. All QR codes go here, promotions and sales. Okay, and I also put it there too. I gotta find, where's my Ziggy bars? What did I put this under? Crap. All right. Go items. No. All right. So what I did was I found a nice group shot of the Ziggy bars. Okay. I took off the background using the remove background tool. You have to do that when you're using a product display background. Okay, and I have them down here, so I'm just going to grab it. What I actually did is and here, let's copy this, control, just going to put it here, control copy, and you can see this is the 2-row ones, but I just cropped it using the grid element, just the single grid element. It's better than, you know, if you can find a group shot of something you're talking about, it's just better than plugging in every individual one into a 6th grid thing. So, and this is, I did a 2-row thing. So, yeah, we can do this. We can control and paste, and then we're going to move this. See this? Now I'm going to show this one here. And you gotta move it around so the other ones don't show. No, let's move this. Let's get rid of this because we don't need it. Okay. And again, you can adjust how the background, how high it goes. Then you'd want to put this, you know, in back of that to make it look like it's actually on the table, kind of. You know, you can spread them out however you want. You just we do have to leave room for some text. When we are putting text against this, it depends really on the color. You can put like just an element of a shape, and then do a transparency so you can see through it a little bit, so it's not completely blocked off. Another thing I'm not sure if you know how to do is to group all this stuff together so it doesn't move again. So like if we had to resize this, show you how to do that. You hit each element, hit the shift button, and select each element individually. And you can include stickers in there, I believe, right? So you select each element while hitting the shift button, and you hit group. Okay, so now you can move this whole thing as a total group, and then resize it as needed, and then you ungroup it this way to go back to the regular elements. So if you find any product display backgrounds, you can upload them here. You can go through what we have. You can actually have some, and this is a great one because this has a blank background. I showed it here. You can, how do I do it? So basically it's just a platform, and then you use whatever color in back that you want. Okay. And, stick within our color palette when we're doing stuff. Try and use similar looking. I love the way they've done a few things with their fonts. I love their combinations. Um, use Don't use more than 2 fonts. Make sure the headline is big. They actually do categorize their fonts now, which I love. So you can find something more that's for display, which kind of is what I'm talking about. You can find something that's, handwritten, calligraphy, sans serif, so bold. Some of these are really cool. Some of these will look really good. I don't want to stray too much, but and again, you want this to kind of be in the same spot, but you gotta manipulate and make sure it can be seen. This will always be seen, but once again, these are the elements to include in the same spot, and then you can kind of duplicate these and just pop in different photos, maybe different backgrounds, so it looks different. And keep it simple. You don't need to be creating new graphics for every, you know what I mean? Like with this formula, we can make it look different and yet, keep it somewhat similar. This is just one concept of branding using backgrounds like this. And then there's also seamless patterns, which there's a ton of on Envato, and I like this. I don't want it too busy, too distracting. I prefer smaller prints, but I was just setting up an example. And also this, like the product just against the background, you really can't see it. So you got to put it in like against a box. And it tends to look better when you can see through the box a little bit, I think, and see the pattern through it. But again, it just depends on the look. I mean, I like brick, I like natural, I like, there's a lot to choose from. And then there's also these backgrounds which just pop into the whole back. You don't have to deal with it, but they're not product display backgrounds. I'm sorry, it's this one. This is my background folder. This is their backgrounds, okay? Where they have gradients, they have, I've used a lot of these, but it pops it in the whole thing. You don't have to worry about resizing it. You get rid of that too, right? And it's great resolution, meant for a background. And there's lots, but you can also, again, like I showed you, use photos as backgrounds if they are, but you have to use the grid element to make it work properly. And you got to make sure you bring your designs to the side, but like something like this, boom. And then you could bring it up a little bit so it looks like more of a ledge. I don't really like that, but something like this may be cooler. Okay. But it just gives it a look. I've seen a lot of people use these, and it shows off product nice, and we don't have to think too hard. And there's tons of them out there. And let's just add to our collection, and let's stop uploading things to the upload folder and upload it to the correct folder. Okay. The products, we got to figure out where we put these. We could probably delete some of these and maybe do a promotion. I thought I did this already. Do a promotions folder. Mark, no, that's stationary. Maybe this one, Also, another very important thing, when you do QR codes, you have to name them before you upload them so you can see what the hell they are. This is the one to use for any August promotion will show up on that sale page, as long as we keep it updated and it has that, and it's added to the collection. So you can use the same QR code over and over in these designs, in the promotional designs, let's say. Okay, so we're gonna kind of redo what you did for August. It's a good start. I definitely should have been following up more before I let you broadcast everything, but I put everything on pause that was set for this week anyway, and we'll really work on this Monday after orders, and then Wednesday. You know, we'll get to it. So, and I'll try and do some myself here, so you're not stuck with all this. But again, I'm making a video library so we can teach Ashley and Maya how to do everything you're doing, so you can assign this out and not be the only one accountable. Okay, so good job first time around. Let's elevate every way we can elevate this. And if you have any suggestions, let me know, because I'm all ears. Okay, thanks.